Phoenix. Jean Grey Phoenix, the newest one. This is, I mean, could we have asked? Like, you know what? I didn't even see this coming. That's the thing. I was watching the live when they were revealing this figure. And they were revealing figures, and they were like, here's this, and here's that, and here's this. And I knew that we were in an X-Men type of mood, okay? We were in an X-Men type of mood. We did X-Men 97. It kind of rebirthed interest. All of a sudden, all these people are very into X-Men, and they're waiting for new X-Men figures, and people are talking about trying to get Cable and all this other stuff. And we've got really, really solid X-Men 97 figures, from one of the best Cyclopses we have ever had to actually, I argue, I know a lot of people like that Astonishing Wolverine. No, personally, my favorite of them all that has been released, my favorite, that X-Men 97 Wolverine, that is the best Wolverine I have ever opened. I absolutely love that. So, when I'm watching the live, and all of a sudden he takes out this fire base, and he puts it down, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And then he takes out that bird, and he sets it down. I was like, no. And then they show her, and like, she's on the new female body buck. She's basically state of the art. She comes with the Firebird. Like, can we give it up to Marvel Legends? Can we do that? Can we be fair for once in our life? Can we step away from our meager existence of festering hate where nothing is good enough and everything sucks? And can we clap our hands and say that this might be one of the best years in the history of the entire frickin' line? Like, can we do that? Because, man, if they didn't just keep swinging that bat, man. Bow, there it goes. Bow, there it goes. Bow, there it goes. Over and over and over again, they have consistently released fantastic figures. And I haven't even opened this yet. And maybe I'm hyping myself up, but this is one of them. Okay? I would have no problem putting this right up there with Danny Ketch this year. And I saw some people complain about the price of this thing. Get over it. Get over it. 100%. Let's open it. Let's give them another congratulations real quick. Let's do that. Okay? Let's clap them hands for Marvel Legends, because this team, again, by the way, not only have they had a great year, but one thing that we never talk about, their packaging has actually gotten better. Like, the last couple figures that I've opened, they're just in the plastic sleeve. You open it, you take the top off or whatever, you push them out, you're done. You're done. They don't need to be taped in 7 different ways and have the little twisty tie things and have the stupid little pegs. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. And when they're not doing all that, great. Okay, I know that the big thing we want to see is her. But I need to address the Firebird first, because this is something that we have forever. This is something that we have wanted. So it comes with this base right here. Seems simple enough. You put the fire over it, like so. Yeah. Oh, and it looks like it pegs in. So there, it actually locks in. Did you see it? Did you see what that idiot just did? Because now, for like the next 15 minutes, that will be an absolute stain on the video. That idiot right there, me, yes, past Bill, yes, past Bill, just literally plugged that in and screwed the whole thing up. And from this point forward, this Firebird will be a continual pain in Bill's butt. See that Firebird up there? I still have it. It's fantastic. I'm glad that I have it. But boy, if this didn't cause me some real problems. Go ahead. Laugh at him. He deserves it. And then that's how we create the fire base from what I'm seeing here. Which is good. That's clever, actually. That's really nice. That's a good fire effect. The other thing, the other part of the fire is right here. And did I already make this more difficult for myself than it had to be? I have no idea yet. But let's figure out, shall we? Because I think this next piece probably goes... Oh, yep, it goes like this. So it goes in there, and this part I probably actually should have put in first. Is it too late to walk this back? I don't think it's that big of a deal. We're just gonna push it in there here. Okay? Yeah. Because that goes like this, and this part goes here. This comes around, and then this fire goes on top of that fire. Almost feel like that I messed up a little bit. I'm going to pull this part out real quick. Or I was going to pull this part out real quick, but that tab is in there real good. A good thing and a bad thing in my case, because I did not... Who needs instructions? We can do this. We're going to move the fire. We're going to push that into place. There. Push that back. There's that part of the fire. That is a real problem. I did not expect to accidentally kind of screw myself here. Yeah. Come on, can't I fix this? It is really tough to fix. I'm going to have to just push it down. I'm going to have to make do. Push that part in. There we go. Move that over. I really feel like I'm confusing myself somehow. I don't know what is going on, but I most assuredly am confusing myself as to how this was supposed to lock in or something like that. No. Oh, I see it. I see what I'm doing. I see exactly what I'm doing. I feel almost stupid, but I see it. It's this part that I'm trying to plug in to the bottom here, not the other part. So that's what's going on. That's where I'm confusing myself and having a bunch of problems. But for what it's worth, this I do have to pop out. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it. Don't make my mistake. I tabbed all this in, and I was like, hey, that's good because you want it to be really tight and everything. And you do, but you also don't want the problem that I just created for myself, which is a bit of a real problem. And, yeah. But now that I know exactly where that tab is, and I know what I'm trying to fight to get to, I can at least kind of try to walk it back. There. I got that. I need to pull this part up and get it all in there. Exactly how I need it to go in there. Oh my gosh. I wish that I had not done that. There's that. There's this. Pull the fire back. Pull the fire up and over. I almost wonder if I should just try to pop this out, because it is not wanting to play nice with me now that I messed that part up. But I didn't know, like, there was no indicator as to what part went first unless I'd actually stopped and paid a little more attention, and I did not, and I should have, and that's my fault. that's what I get. Yeah, I cannot. I have to pop this out. So I need this to work with me here. I need it to work. I need to pull that tab back, pull this up. Yeah, this is bad. If you do what I did, this is a problem. So let me just say, were there a set? Is that instructions? No. So there were no instructions. So I was unaware that this would be a real problem. This is a real problem. Just for first impressions here, because that's what this show does, is it does first impressions, and it talks about what works and what doesn't work. Once you pop this in, I mean, it is really, really in there. And to try to get the fire to kind of come back out after you try to build this part of the base, this plastic, it's already starting to bend a little bit here. It doesn't want to come out of place. So if you do what I did and you mess this up, you're going to play absolute nightmare trying to get it to go all into place, okay? Because it does not want, this part does not want to pop out. So that is a real, real problem in terms of first impressions. There, I'm starting to get it. It's very, very tedious to try to pop this out, because once it goes into place, it really, 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 really went into place. It does not want to come apart, which you would argue is a good thing, but it's not a good thing if you messed up the way that I did, because now you want it to come apart, and it does not want to do that, okay? Wonder if I got that enough to where I can slip this now. Really wish I'd have noticed it. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's rough. I've got to get this base off. There's no way around it. I've got to get this base off. So I've got to get in there, and I've got to pop that loose. I've got to pull that down. I've got one of the tabs to come off. Whew. I did not expect to do this. I'm going to have to do what was just said right there. I'm going to have to blow dryer this a little bit, heat it up, and pull it back out of place and screwdriver it out of place. Because that plastic is real, man. So let me go get my blow dryer, my hair dryer real quick, and let me get my tool, and I'm going to pop this out of place and put this together. I guess I'll be right back. I did not expect this. Haha. Okay, got it. Didn't take much. Little bit of heat with the blow dryer. Put it on high heat. Only about like 30 seconds. Came off. It was pretty easy. Once I got this to bend a little bit, that was fine. Now I know about that. See, this is another reason that I kind of like doing these as first impressions, because I also like to kind of hit the ideas that you are going to encounter problems that you did not know, okay? You did not know you were going to, and I've noticed that most reviewers, they will skip over things like this, or they just somehow instinctively know how to put everything together, which I've seen a lot of times where like people will be like, oh yeah, it was a real simple build, and then I will get it and I'll either feel like an idiot because it wasn't really that simple, but then sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes I've had it the other way around. I've made Gunpla that to me seems very, very simple, and maybe it's because I've done it for so many years, and then I will come across somebody that they will look at the same directions I'm looking at, and they're like, I don't know what it wants me to do here. And like, okay, so like recently we were building Gunpla not too long ago, me and my daughter, and she ended up putting the arms in reverse. She messed up the arms. And to me, it just seemed like very simple. And she was like, well, the directions don't say to do that. And I'm like, well, they do. But that's very interesting to me, how quickly these things can end up like that and how confusing one thing can be for one person and not for another. But I got it. So my ignorance aside, it is solved. There it is. Fire. I have made fire. And it was easily as hard as it is for a caveman, as far as I'm concerned. That was some tough fire to make, okay? I'm proud of my fire making. Even if I had to look like an idiot to do it, here it is. Fantastic fire, okay? And I'm curious, does the bird just go on like... Oh, I see. Okay, so the bird, as far as I can tell, kind of sits in, because I see that there's like a grip right here. So I'm wondering if that's for like this, or if this maybe goes this way and it goes the other direction. I'll figure it out once I get her on. I'm noticing that there's a hole right here. And I'm not 100% sure what that's for yet, unless that can't be for the bird. And then it could also do something like this. I don't know. I could look at the back of the box and see if there's an easy indication, because it almost looks like the bird, because the fire is going to come down. I think that hole is for her foot, which would make sense to me. So the hole here is kind of like a foot holster, as far as I can tell, because that's where the base of it is. That's where that part comes up and around and everything. Like, it is a little confusing, because there's just a lot here. It's a really cool effect, but it is a little confusing exactly how to do it. And there were no directions in my box. I don't know about anybody else's box, but there's nothing in here. It doesn't say how to do it. And the only piece of paper that fell out of this thing I showed you, there's nothing. So evidently this was meant to be very self-explanatory, and it's not. I mean, I'm sure I can figure it out. That is not my issue at all. I'm sure that I can figure it out. But it is a little crazy just how confusing it really is. And then, is it possible that it goes something like... Well, regardless, let's check her out, because once I have her, I'll have kind of a basis for how this stand works. And for what it's worth, I'm looking at the face sculpts. We got two heads. We have a using power head, which is really good, actually. It's really good, and it has a lot of flared out hair and everything, and it's really cool. And then, of course, we have just her, which isn't a bad face sculpt at all. Like I said, I kind of wish that this camera would focus a little better than it does in terms of these. But yeah, like it's really good. It really is. It's not showcasing perfectly on my camera, but it's good. I am curious, if you don't like this with the hair is constantly in motion, I'm curious if the other gene will, if the other gene's head will go on here very simply. And I imagine that it would. So because I have the other Phoenix, the older Phoenix, I don't think that I'm going to experience a problem in terms of her head. I will technically have 4 different head sculpts that I can use unless I decide to sell the old gene. I know the old gene is probably not going back on the shelf after this, because mine has a minor scuff on the foot here, but it's not enough that I can really worry too much about it. It's nothing that I'm like concerned about necessarily. The hip belt is pretty solidly in place. It's not going anywhere, and that's probably good, because the other one was very floaty. Not that it caused any kind of major problem, but it was very floaty. We, of course, have all the movement we could really want. She doesn't exactly do the splits, but she's getting fairly close. And then we actually have Wow. Like we have butterfly joints, which are really solid too. They kind of go, oh, that is crazy. Like that's good. That's really good on the butterfly joints. I'm really impressed. And I heard that Black Widow, I'm thinking maybe this is the Black Widow body being reused. I can't say that for sure. I have not opened that Black Widow, so I don't know. But this is a very new female body, and it's got a lot of movement. I'm very impressed with it. Of course, we've got the arms that we have become accustomed to be fair, and she's got the expression hands as well as punching hands. And overall, her paint job is fairly good, actually. Maybe I could complain a little bit, but I don't know. Wow, that's a lot of movement. That is insanity. And that lower ab crunch, finally. I know the idea was you didn't want to break up the belly button or whatever. I know that the women's main torso, we've done it for a long time in Marvel Legends. They don't want to break up that torso. I don't know why, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to open this torso right here and have this. And maybe they decided it was okay because they could hide it with this. But like, that lower ab crunch is so helpful in so many ways because it allows them to take so many poses. Like, why wasn't Spinnerette on a body like this? Like, well, why are the Spider-Woman characters not coming on bodies like this? Like, because this is it, man. And actually, I don't know if I'm imagining this. Her bust might be bigger on this than I remember on the other female body bucks that we've become accustomed to. Yeah, this is really good. I will say, not terrible on the head. We've seen a lot worse in terms of restriction, but with the hair going up and everything, I think that probably helps. And I wonder if this head is the same kind of idea. I wonder if I pop this head off, if we'll have no problem, because you imagine that with the hair flaring out, it will move around quite well. There's that. So let's put this on. And that's that head on there. And yeah, she has a lot more movement than that surprises me, because Crystal did not. Crystal's hair is literally in the way. So if we have something like this, where we're trying to get her arms out and everything, we're trying to get her into this kind of a situation. So we'll raise this and we'll turn the bicep in. Or maybe we'll do full on. So we'll put the armpit lines like this. We'll go out. We'll come up a bit. There we go. So there. And then as far as I can tell, the idea is that this foot will go like this. This one will, of course, come up to create this kind of flying effect. We put the foot into here, and that holds her in place. And then the other foot, as far as I could tell, is kind of, you can kind of set it into the fire here and have it also hold. And I think this is the idea right here. Now, the other point is to figure out the bird. Oh, and just to point out, bam! Okay? She's got it, all right? Just so we're not skipping anything here. It's somewhat become a weird custom on here to like showcase the fact that some of these girls got the butt. She got the butt. So I think this still is, in all honesty, a little bit confusing on the bird. Because I have her now on the fire. So I think she fell down. Stay there, Gene. Like, I'm guessing this is supposed to go in the wings or something. This base is really cool and yet really confusing. Like, I'm being serious about this. I almost feel stupid about how difficult this is to figure out. There's very little indicators as to what it wants you to do here with the fire. Like, I know that the bird goes on here, but it's not spelled out for you in any specific way. Like, and there's not like an indentation that I see on the bird necessarily anywhere. This might be the biggest problem with this is that the design is really cool and really solid, but it doesn't give you any indication of what it wants you to do. Do I open this up? Is that the problem? Am I not being forceful enough with it? Do I open it up and put it so that it goes in like this or something like that? Like, does this grab one side of the wing? This grabs the other side of the wing, and I just need to be forceful about it. And that's it. I got it. So here's the thing with the Firebird to keep in mind. The Firebird is not self-explanatory. The fire, personally, was not self-explanatory. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to feel like I'm breaking the figure. Now, this is on me a little bit. Just so you realize this is on me. I could tell this is what it wanted. This and this hold the wings. I mean, that felt very self-explanatory until I started to do it, and then it felt like I was going to have to really force it on there, and that made me worry that it kind of scared me. Okay, well, I'm going to pull this and move this, and then I hope that doesn't like break anything or move anything out of whack and kind of mess something up. And that's where I was. That's where I was with this. So the Firebird, very cool. You're not going to hurt it. Okay? I, like an idiot, I'll admit to that, like an idiot, felt like I would hurt it. And I think it's because this is so cool that I don't want to hurt it, right? I don't want it to be messed up. I want it to be cool like it is, because it's cool. And because of that, it like had me scared that if I forced it, right? If I forced it, it would like not work. But it does work. See what I'm getting at? Like it does work. I just didn't realize this holds the wings. And it's more than malleable. This is a thick, hard plastic. As you could tell when I was tugging the crap out of it and we weren't breaking the stand, like, the stand is not broken, okay? I didn't have to break it to fix it, but it was really, really tight. And this is really, really solid. Like, once you build this base, this is a solid hunk of plastic. And these are also very solid. So it's not going to give you problems when you try to, like, pull it or force this bird down on there. But I was worried that it would not be as solid as it is. That could be misleading. Don't be afraid to work with it. You're not going to hurt this thing. I thought that I would. That was part of the reason that I was holding back the way I was. But now, I can literally put the leg down in there, and you can really push that leg down there, by the way. There's a lot of space for this leg to go into there. And it looks like the leg goes way down in there, actually, if you want. That's as far as I can get the leg to go down, just kind of forcing it. And there she is, just at a standard, not even manipulating her, not moving her too much. She looks like this. And I'm sure that if I play around with her, I can get her even better than that. This was just like a real quick, I want to kind of see her work type of thing. But I'm positive that given the right situation, and especially if you have the right lighting and everything, and especially if you shoot it from below, I'm sure you can get some really, really solid things here. And maybe if I bring her legs in a little bit like this, kind of move that off to the side so it's not as lifted, and then angle her body down a little bit. There. I've got my arms higher than they have their arms, but you can see, there it is. See? You can do it. This is a good figure, like a ridiculously good figure. Like, I understand why people are marking this as one of the best figures of the year. And on a personal note, I can not only understand that, I can 100% see it. In fact, I can see it in a way that at this point, just doing enough of it like this, just kind of getting this out there. Let me move the knee just a little bit, and I've got her. I've got basically the same pose that they're running with on theirs. I've got her. Foot's down in there. It's not going anywhere. That's a very solid base. And this is 2 figures back to back now that we have got with incredibly good bases. I will say, the Ghost Rider's base was a lot easier to understand. I had no problem whatsoever figuring out how to do the Ghost Rider. This is probably just because I was chicken. I didn't want to hurt it. But there it is. It's really, really good. And it works really good. It's everything that you want it to be. This is an absolute centerpiece. This builds your X-Men collection right here. You put this on the shelf, you put it down, you build your entire X-Men display around it. Like, that is the absolute centerpiece of your X-Men shelf now. I absolutely love it. And I'm thinking that, and actually it's interesting that I'm just now seeing that somebody in the chat is already saying it. You could easily light this from the bottom if you have the correct kind of light. And this is just a little light that I had that's sitting over there. But you can already see, even with this, and it's not even designed to do what I'm trying to do, this is really good. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. This might become a desk figure. I may not put this up with the X-Men. Maybe I will. But this could very well end up being a desk figure. That is one of the best figures, period. Phoenix is added to the shelf. And though I had a lot of problems, very solid. Aside from my difficulties, which are caused by my own fault, this is probably the best Phoenix we have ever had. The only argument I would have against it is maybe the hair. This is an always in motion, wind blowing hair. You can't do a stagnant thing. You can't do where the Phoenix is standing in a room next to Scott and she's just standing there. The wind is always blowing where she is concerned. Not really anything that I'm gonna hate too much. I'm just pointing it out. Jean Grey.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.